And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on this beloved episode of the Doing All Right. Bryan, let me just ask you something first. Hold on.
Sir.
Stop everything. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bryan, it's real easy to, fall in love with practice when pads come on and we doing compete periods and we doing some one-on-ones and when they call for like first team, like a legit first team runs out, Bryan. I understand that. What you think about where you at with these OTA mini camp type joints where we don't get a whole bunch? It's shorts. We're not really going after each other like that. Not really competitive in that way. I know you can, you have a famous quote. You can make a Super Bowl out of any practice or whatever, Bryan. But I found myself almost not caring about a Joe Milton overthrow right now, or not caring about a thump drill with Tyler Booker and Cooper Beebe there. I would much rather see them whoop each other when we get to Oxnard. Bryan, where you at with these OTAs? Like what you feel about them?
I've always been about where guys line up.
Sure.
Kind of initially, especially with the rookies integrated with the veterans, I'm always interested to see. Today, I got a little glimpse of no Micah Parsons, Donovan Ezraku playing his position, playing as a stand-up, almost off-ball linebacker, 7-on-7 drills. He's dropping. You and I and others, Nick Harris, everybody on the draft show, we evaluated Ezraku as an edge rusher, and so don't think that's changed. But what did they do with him today in the practice that we got to see? They put him in Micah Parsons' spot. So that's something that's always interesting to me. So if you get, maybe you're in a situation where like, let's see if this rookie can handle rush football, run at football, drop football, coverage football. Now, there's times at Boston College where you've watched him kind of drop and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I do that too much. But here, Matt Eberflus and the staff kind of trying to figure some things out that way. Does he look comfortable doing it? Does he look stiff, robotic? Can he not turn? Can he not bend? Yeah. These are things you could see in the T-shirts and shorts, helmet, moving around, that kind of thing. Like, wow, okay. Report from the field was there were a couple of times where he was working in 7-on-7. That's primarily, if you're just following along, new to our program, welcome. But that 7-on-7, when we talk about that at camp, that's primarily a passing situation right there. So that's kind of where, but they were looking at him in coverage, going to the flat. Word was, look comfortable doing it. Not making up stuff, but it's different than the vision that we have for him going forward. They're taking an opportunity while Micah is away to say, well, let's see if we can play him in a role similar to what we do with Micah. Those are the kinds of things you get out of practice. What if you see somebody like Miles Sanders?
Sure.
Who I shouldn't say we. This is unfair to you. Maybe I could say we, but we've had questions about the running backs.
Yeah. Sure.
You have your guys, I have my guys. I have my concerns. Do I think they need to rotate it? Maybe. Do they need to churn it? Maybe. But then you get reports. Miles Sanders caught the ball a couple of different times, swinging a screen. Oh, I thought Williams was swinging screen guy. Oh, Miles Sanders, good.
Yeah.
Good to see that. Miles Sanders, inside run, good burst, get away. Oh, okay. Maybe there is some life in that body, where he's, where he shows like a little spring in his step.
Bryan, what do you think that balance is going to be between Miles Sanders being veteran guy and we need to see what he is, because like normally the old guys don't do a whole bunch of preseason stuff.
Got to play him. I got to play him.
You have to, right?
I have to play him. I cannot go through,
because Zeke did nothing. Zeke did nothing.
If you and I were standing next to each other watching training camp practices last year,
yeah,
we both would have been, why is Zeke not getting any work?
Yeah.
Why is he not? What's the deal? What are they conserving him for? Why are they not putting him in here in this 9-on-7 period or this team period? Why is he getting 1 rep, 2 reps here or there? No, is he going to be the primary guy going into this thing? No. To me, when you have for the most part, a completely new staff, everybody in the pool. Not interested in now, look what's going on today with Dak Prescott.
Sure.
Talking about Dak Prescott. Some people charting his throws and stuff. Missed on it. He had a couple of drops. I think Schoonmaker had one. CD had one. But you see him moving around. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You see him being active and throwing the ball. Dak Prescott, veteran quarterback, needs work. He missed a good chunk of the season last year.
Yeah.
Needs work. I'm not opposed to any of these guys getting work, especially with the new staff.
So Bryan, typically what I the kind of issue that I have, and look, I don't want to say issue, but just I'm just a lot more reserved to Oxnard, right? Because I do think it's a lot of everybody's participating right now, catching up, getting up to speed until it's time to really, throttle up there, Bryan. Because once we get to Oxnard, like your job's on the line, like we making plays, boom, boom, boom. So when we hear about, CD can drop a pass because he's CD.
Right.
Can Flournoy drop a pass?
No. But
Yeah.
But then you hear Flournoy, Joe Milton, much better day.
Sure.
There was people that I was talking to last week that were saying that Joe Milton maybe not comfortable.
Sure.
In the first practice that we were able to watch. Far more comfortable in this one. But all of a sudden, if there's a 40-yard shot going to Ryan Flournoy, here we go. I heard another couple of positive plays for Mingo. Sliding catch, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. These are the things that, and Nick Harris has got it right there. There's our draft show colleague right there. Got a good eye, kind of following along, watching what's going on. He's got the numbers for you right there, Joe Milton. Joe Milton, I mean, every practice, Joe Milton probably going to be a little bit more comfortable with what's going on. But Ryan Flournoy can't afford drop passes. Let me tell you this.
Please.
Any wide receiver that's not named Lamb or Pickens can't have a bad day of practice.
Sure.
Can't have. And I'm including Tolbert. I'm including Flournoy. See, that's the thing is we've seen receivers that we didn't even talk about in the springtime have practices in Oxnard like, oh my gosh, wow, where did this guy come from? That, but then are they able to have consistent practices throughout?
See, Bryan, this is something I've been thinking about, right? Let's say George Pickens wasn't here, right? Let's just say Pickens not here, right? The Andy Joneses of the world make this team. You understand what I'm saying? Like Pickens changes so. I keep saying this, right? But maybe I just need to do an hour-long video about how much he changes.
Yeah.
I said this talking point the other day that Pickens bumps everybody down 2 spots, right? Think about this. Turpin's going to get involved somehow. Let's just say Turpin's going to get involved. The Cowboys are going to play a bunch of 11 personnel, right? 3 wide receivers. So, Bryan, if Pickens is not here, Mingo and Tolbert are guaranteed on the field. Whatever configuration it is, they're guaranteed on the field, right? They get to, no matter what the competition is, they both are the guy. Flournoy makes the team. Jalen Brooks makes the team. Turpin is the extra guy. What happens now, Bryan, is Pickens bumps everybody down twice. What I mean by that is, yeah, you may see a time where Tolbert comes off the field, but Mingo stays on, or Mingo may come off the field and Tolbert stays on. Now, both those guys could come off the field to get the Lamb, Turpin, Pickens look.
Pickens, right.
So now Tolbert and Mingo are fighting for their life, Bryan, bro. That's how huge this is. My biggest point a couple shows ago, I was like, man, Andy Jones would do all this camp theatrics. TJ Vasher do all this camp theatrics, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't make the team.
Yeah.
Right? Because Gallup and Cooper and all those guys will push those guys down. At the end of the day, they wouldn't make the team. Bryan, we were here trying to make it make sense that Jalen Brooks can make the team. Right. Oh, yeah, Jalen Brooks will come out here and, yeah, they'll find something for Bryan. Jalen Brooks might be in Jacksonville somewhere.
Sure.
By the end of this thing, just by that one Pickens addition. So, yeah, you're right. This ain't just Bryan, I don't think Tolbert can just walk into this thing confidently.
No, I don't think so either. You know, especially we keep mentioning the new staff. Yeah, Shoddy and new receivers coach and things like that. You know, the front office, they've been waiting on Tolbert.
Sure.
You know, we hate flash players. We talk about that all the time on the draft show. Don't be a flash player. Don't be a flash player. And that's what Tolbert's kind of been here for the Dallas Cowboys. But if people say, oh, well, Bryan Voch, if he gets cut, someone's sure. You know, but maybe he is who he is. Sure. But I feel like that every receiver not named Lamb or Pickens needs to find a way to stack some good days, to stack some really good days. So that to me is kind of where this is all going to come down to.
Well,
that offensively, think how much better. Like before the Pickens trade. Oh man, they're rolling with the same group.
Yep.
Think of this offense. You feel like, well, offensively, they're just, well, maybe it's going to have to be Lamb, and hopefully Ferguson steps up, and hopefully trade for Pickens.
Ferguson's your third guy now.
Now you all of a sudden you mentioned everybody's kind of down a notch, maybe down 2 notches.
Sure.
You know, so yeah, it goes from being like well, they're probably going to struggle to, damn, this offense has had a chance to be good.
Sure.
They have a chance of being good throwing the football.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that every one of these guys that's lined up in that receiver room has to go out there every single day. And if you don't, you're going to get cut.
Man, Bryan, just, speaking of these rooms, man, just these stacked thick ass rooms, man. Have you heard anything about the DBs at practice today? You know, were there any developments from the secondary today?
Yeah, it looks like to me, and this goes back just kind of hearing some things. Sounds like that Elam had another day where he was able to make a PBU on a pass that against Prescott. So it wasn't like he was against, the 2 or the 3.
Milton,
it was yeah. So legitimate here's another practice where media gets to watch. Elam makes another play.
Sure.
Good for him. Good for him. Individual drills, it sounds like that Bland, Hall, McQuamu, and Zion Childress.
Okay, Kentucky.
Worked at the slot corner during individual. So some point in time, Bland, Hall, McQuamu, Childress, all slot corner. Then Wanye Thomas also saw some time in others in 11 on 11 and then 7 on 7 is what I heard from there.
Do you think Kemon will have a fair shot at the nickel spot? Like, do you think he's gonna have a real opportunity at that nickel spot? Because out of all the spots on defense, that seems to be like not just corner, right? But nickel in particular. We got we have a bunch of tall outside guys. Israel and Donovan may both line up at nickel sometimes, but in real life they outside guys, Bryan. Kemon Hall is a real life nickel for you. Do you think he's gonna get a real shot at that job, or is he just gonna end up practice squad again?
Initially, till you and I get out in Oxnard, I'll say this.
Sure.
I think they're looking for an outside guy and then put Bland inside. That's what I think. Now, what if McQuamu steps up? What if Hall steps up? What if Carson steps up?
Yeah, sure.
I think they're trying to find I think they know, and these are the great things you could find out at camp, not only with your own eyes, but then you could walk up and ask Matt Eberflus that question, or ask, somebody that question after practice and get an answer. Right now, if they had to play, I think they would play Bland inside and try and figure out who would play with Elam on the other side.
Well, Bryan, I got to ask, do you think that they're and I heard that Bland played a lot of nickel. Do you think that they're focused on Bland playing nickel because they're thinking about bringing in somebody from the outside to come play outside, like somebody from the streets?
I think they're going to give all their guys a shot on the outside. I think whole card is Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, they got the number just waiting to call him.
Yeah. I think that if we get to Oxnard and there's 2 or 3 practices and all of a sudden it doesn't look as clean on the outside, I think they've got Gilmore on speed dial. And they're going to say, okay, you ready to go? Come on in. We saw that last year with Carl Lawson. Then they work out Carl Lawson. He kind of went away for a few days and then came back.
Yeah.
So
the problem is, Bryan, they just got so many hurt guys. Cowboys. Yeah. They just got so many hurt guys or coming back from being hurt guys. You know what I mean? We're talking about Diggs here. We're talking about Butler. We're talking about Revel, and all those guys can play for you.
Right.
We just don't know when they coming back. Now,
yeah, I know that I've told you, I don't think they have a timetable on Diggs.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think they could. I don't think, like I say with Revel, the one thing that I keep hearing about him is how willing he is to do everything they ask him to do.
Yeah.
He is not turned down one challenge they've asked him to do. So to me, that's a super positive thing to hear. But it's a banged up group right now. It is a banged up group, but I do believe the ace in the hole is they've got the outside guy with Gilmore if they have to go that route. Yeah. They have to go that route.
Man, Bryan, man, I'm so sick of the letters ACL, man. I'm just tired of them, Bryan. You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody got some little ACL issues going on, man. Shouts out to Cowboys break, man. Me, you, and Ambar did a cool little show. Man, Bryan, people in the comments was fighting us a little bit. Well, they was fighting Voch a little bit. Because ACLs they terrify me, and I just kind of, I just want to know there. But brother Nick Harris today said that Sam Williams tore his ACL in the first week of training camp last year. He looks very close to a full return. Moved around well with the rehab group today. Now Sam ain't doing much of nothing right now,
right?
But this at least gives you an update that more than likely Sam will be ready for big camp.
Yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt in a training camp practice.
Yeah,
so it's been a little shy of a year for him. By the way, can I throw something else at you?
Hell yeah, Bryan.
Donovan Wilson has been dealing with something.
Yeah,
Is
I
anybody
didn't even know he
reported
was
that?
hurt. I didn't know he was hurt until I think I heard Todd Archer say that he was working on the bands and he wasn't in there today.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Okay. This is what I know about that one. I asked somebody about that because I'd heard that Wilson was not practicing, and I got the info that was a knee scope in the postseason,
Mm.
and he's in the process of getting over that right now.
Okay.
He's kind of beat himself up pretty good, trying to get back in it, and but he's also trying to do things working with trainers and also his the weight staff, training staff,
Yeah.
to work on his explosiveness.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with is that Nick? Did Nick post that one up?
Cowboys safety Donovan Wilson has been with the rehab group the last couple of weeks during OTA availability. He had an offseason knee procedure that isn't viewed as anything major. Should be ready.
There you go. Yeah. That's Nick. Nick and I are on the same page because I had a couple different people. I asked because I said, well, I didn't hear anything about Donovan Wilson, and someone said, well, Donovan Wilson was with the rehab group, and so I searched around, but was a knee scope, postseason, getting over that, but he's doing things to try and work more on his explosiveness while he's doing this rehab.
Bryan, you asked me a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember every conversation we had, Bryan. It's just who I am. You asked me, you was like, man, Voch, what you think about Kenneth Murray and playing the Mike linebacker spot, like playing Mike?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Bryan, I just don't know. I think Kenneth Murray would be a good blitzing linebacking dude, like a good forward guy. I'm just not sure where I'm at, as a Mike linebacker type character, Bryan. And to your credit, he was like, yeah, man, I see Kenneth Murray as like the Mike guy, and I see Sanborn as like a Will type character. You know what I mean? And apparently Kenneth Murray and Sanborn, they, according to Nick Harris and according to many people, we just focusing on Nick Harris because he's the colleague right now.
He's a colleague of ours. Yeah, absolutely. He's got scout's eyes.
Yeah. Apparently they have been quite the early tandem of linebackers, Bryan Broaddus.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Sanborn and Kenneth Murray. Now, where's Louisville in all this?
This is where I think that maybe he is part of this. But what Nick is doing is not because he is a returning player.
Yeah.
Unless he jumps out with a PBU, interception, blitz, tag off, run play. Yeah. I think Nick is probably focusing on watching, like, okay, my point this snap is to watch Sanborn, and watch the other linebacker, and watch the new linebackers to kind of get a feel for that. Because I think that I clearly think that Maris Leofau is part of what they're going to try and do. Now, I will say this. He was found by Mike Zimmer and that crew.
Yeah.
That was their guy. That when we were at the Rudder Room and Mike Zimmer and the crew was there and all that, and we had a chance to sit down and visit with him. They and even day 3 of the draft, when the scouts came in there and we were talking about the linebacker, with Scott McCurley, the linebacker coach at the time. Oh, we love this Maris Leofau. And Maris Leofau did some really, really good things. But here he is, his second year, his second defensive staff. I think that he'll be fine because I think he's got instincts.
Yeah.
I think he's one of these guys that can play in coverage. He's around the ball. He creates turnovers. You watch him play at Notre Dame, even though he was touted by the previous staff as a playmaker. I think this new staff will adopt him. But I think what Nick's doing is he's probably focusing on the two new guys just to kind of have an idea of, kind of get a little bit of a feel of how they're playing.
Because, there was a couple more tweets. Like even Bobby came back and doubled down on it. Like, yeah, Kenny Murray flashed a few times today, and even Joe Hoyt was kind of talking about both of them. Now, see, Bryan, this is where it gets a little cloudy for me, which is why OTAs kind of make my neck itch a little bit, Bryan. Because now I'm like, okay, are they playing here because Overshown's hurt? Or are they really going crazy out here and just taking the one? That's what I'm really curious about, Bryan.
I think these guys are starters, Voch. I think that they realize that there might be a long period before they get Overshown back.
Sure.
I think they're legitimately. This is not just a Band-Aid to get to the next guy. I think they're legitimately thinking about these guys as starters. Murray, Sanborn, Leofau, that kind of situation. Let me see if Bobby said anything else. I know Bobby was very much in the practice mode today.
Yeah.
Like, and I by the way, if any of the guys and gals are watching our show, thank you for doing that. They were out of practice.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate your eyes out there. We really do appreciate your eyes when we can't be out there ourselves. Let me see about, Bobby's talking about Milton. He's talking about the running backs, high energy, Bland at corner with rotation of Elam, Booth. He mentioned Booth, Bland in the slot. Good days for Jonathan Mingo and Jalen Brooks. Those are things he told us. I'm just going down the list real quick for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Standard offensive line group. I asked the question, did you notice anything about the offensive or defensive line? He said standard O-line group, but Hoffman rotated in with the ones for a snap or two. I said, it's center or right guard. He said center. I said, okay, here we go. So then I asked him about, and then he mentioned that Nealon and Turner were with the first team at defensive end.
Okay.
Kind of
rundown guys.
Rundown guys.
Yeah.
Thomas and Mozzie at the defensive tackle spots, with JT in for one or two with the ones. So JT was probably rotating with Mozzie with the ones and the twos right there. Okay. I said I assumed Turner was playing left end. Bobby said I think he did some flipping.
Yeah.
But he noticed him at right end with Ezaraku standing outside of him.
As a linebacker type guy.
As a linebacker type guy, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. And honestly, Bryan, that might be what your run look like. Like your run set of guys, that might be what those guys look like. You know? So please. Go ahead.
He also said it wasn't during team, but during 7-on-7, the passing period, they let Elijah Clark, the rookie from Syracuse, the free safety, work in with the starters a couple of different times. There's your alignment. What are you trying to notice at practice? 7-on-7 drill.
Sure.
Clark, get in there with the ones. So that's something that, let me see, talk to somebody else. This is John Machota. I asked him. Asked him about Mingo. Made a nice diving grab from Joe Milton. I asked him, is there anything about him getting off the line better? He said, I wouldn't say anything noticeable right now about that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the practice notes that I got from Bobby. And then we saw the stuff from Nick Harris as well.
Seems to be
that didn't answer your question, but
it's all right.
Going through those notes.
It's all right, bro. It just seemed to be a very active day. I'm still Oxnard guy. I think we're gonna get most of our questions answered there.
I agree.
Bryan, do you know what off-season peanut butter is? Like when I say off-season peanut butter, like have you ever heard me say that? And do you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, well, when I say off-season peanut butter,
let me think about it now. Off-season peanut butter, because peanut butter usually, paired with the bread and the jelly, is usually a really good snack.
Sure.
Peanut butter could be sticky, roof of the mouth. It could be it can make your mouth dry if you eat enough of it.
Yeah.
make you thirsty. So I'm kind of thinking you're saying off-season peanut butter is tasty, but not the best meal by itself.
There's a lot, Brian, bro. There's a lot of analysis. I thought this was pretty cut and dry. Nah, the off-season peanut butter, Brian, is it was this joke that I always make. Is
Okay.
these rookies, they show up and they play a season of football,
Right.
and they're kind of in rookie size, and in
Right.
the off season, out of nowhere, they just pop up big as hell for no reason. And I'm going,
Yeah.
okay, they must got different peanut butter protein over there than I have, because
Right.
these dudes get real big real fast. So when I say,
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
right,
Yeah,
so
I
when
got you.
Cooper Beebe come back bigger than what he was last year, I said, okay, there go Beebe off the peanut butter right there, because Beebe done got a little
Okay.
big. You know what I'm saying?
So eating those Crustables.
Sure, 100%. Yeah,
A lot of Crustables.
those
yeah.
extra protein Crustables,
Yeah.
BB's definitely on them. So I have this thing. I have this thing that I call a peanut butter watch, where I'm looking out to see how big guys have gotten. I'm trying to see
Yeah.
what the like what they look like physically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's this one picture going around. Brian, you think Jay Toia big ass ready to go right now, Brian? I know we're talking about man bodies, and I understand that peanut butter Toia is going to be a different character, but
Yeah.
that's a big old boy, Brian.
That is a big guy. Is that a 330? That's a 342 player, right? Is that what that guy is?
Toia
So
is 10 pounds bigger than Justin Rogers, who's 330. Toia is 340.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, he's kind of he didn't look sloppy at all, does he?
Nah, he a thick chested, big shoulder character.
Big old head. Yeah,
no
all
neck
right.
character.
Yeah, it's like it just kind of goes right in underneath his ears. It just kind of.
Look at how
That head's
small
so-
Solomon look over there next to him.
I know. And Solomon's a pretty rocked up dude too.
Solomon's a big
So-
dude, man. Toia,
Yeah.
Brian, you think Toia, and look, he is strong, but
He is strong.
he can simply exist by just being 340 some odd pounds, Brian. Do you think we should expect to have like meaningful reps out of him? I mean, he was rotating in with the ones, but what else is
Yeah.
going to happen when Mozzie gets tired? It's either Toia or Justin Rogers,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, right. Probably a good little battle there to see which one is the backup guy. They probably want JT to win that job.
Yeah.
And see if he could be that. He's not going to give you a lot of sacks. He's going to give you some push in the middle, just from power standpoint. He's not going to let the grass die underneath his feet. He's going to try and move down the line of scrimmage. If ball goes a little bit wider on him, might be a little bit of a problem for them. But
Yeah.
if he that A gap to just about head up of the guard, that kind of area, that's kind of where he plays the game.
Yeah.
But they've used him on twists and things like that and different things before at UCLA.
Sure.
So I'm sure that he's active, but he's one of those guys that when it's start, stop, start again, it's a little bit of an issue for him.
Well, Brian, that's a damn good day for some OTA practice breakdown, and neither one of us was at.
Hey, I
one,
told
I'll tell
I told you. It's funny. You laughed about me. I always had that line where I said I can make a walkthrough practice look like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do. I want to thank my guy David Hellman for always helping me with that, because there was always that I would write it, and then Hellman would make it readable. So I miss some of those days of writing these OTA practices,
Sure.
where I actually get to watch the film, and then I could really write a good OTA practice.
Damn, that's hard. That's hard.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be like super behind the scenes like that to where,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, Voch, you get access to practice film. I don't know if I don't know if I want to be that deep into the
nothing better.
.com Illuminati, but
Man, there's nothing better than practice film.
Damn.
Seriously, when you, especially at training camp,
Yeah.
because there's things, and when you and I are out there, like I'll take you up into this VIP area.
Yeah.
And I'm probably spilling my guts here, but you go up this and you could see that you're elevated, and you could see both fields, and you could see all the way down to the other end.
Oh.
So man, you could when team periods are going on, or you got a 1-on-1 or a 9-on-7, and you got all these periods, and you could actually see.
That's that big ass tower in the middle of the field. That's what that's for.
That's Jerry. That's Jerry and the front office.
Oh,
There's
okay.
in the end zone. these stands.
Okay.
There's the stands on the side for VIPs, and there's stands behind the end zone.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That end zone view is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful up there. Yeah, you can get a lot out of that one.
Well, hopefully we get some good practice and some good competitive periods and some hopefully Schottenheimer's into. And look, he says he wants to be physical, so hopefully we get some one-on-ones in practice and stuff like that.
If he has practices like Jason Garrett did, we will get a lot out of watching.
We up there, bro. We up if he gets some Jason Garrett, bro.
For sure.
But thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you for tapping in
Appreciate you,
with
man.
me on this Thursday. Thank you all for watching everything that we do. I feel like as soon as I chose to be a damn hockey fan, the Dallas Stars are getting their ass whooped.
Is it 4-2?
4-2. Yeah.
They got it. They knocked it down to 3-2, and then I just saw a thing I would notice got clicked. So, were we into the third? Or are we in the second?
We're at the end of the second period. So, is Edmonton supposed to be like Kansas City or something? Because they just be scoring.
No, Edmonton is they seem to have Dallas's number. They've got two of the best players in hockey, and then they've got a bunch of role players that are just. Everybody on their team has a point. They've got 18 different points by people. So it's their whole team. Dallas is kind of
they're the Ravens then. They're the Ravens then.
They are a very good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they give Dallas fits and they move on. On the East is Florida, and Florida's kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs. This is their third Cup final, and they won it last year. So they're kind of the Chiefs of the East, is what they are.
Boy, hockey was real excited. We just started getting whooped, man. I was like, all right, cool.
I know people comment. I read those comments. People are like, yeah, you and Voch and hockey talk. I like that, So
yeah,
we'll work on it.
Yeah, next year, man. Next year we'll be a little better than that. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Y'all tap in at VOCHLOMBARDI on socials and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 100,000. We real close. I got like 1,000 or something left. So y'all tap in.
Please do. Yeah. Get in there.
Tap in if y'all just watching. BRYN Broaddus, Bryan Broaddus, he's going to be putting out some more Crown Global Media updates as we get them. As soon as we get them, y'all going to get them. So you got to follow Bryan for that. He may or may not respond to you. He's been a little more active lately. He's been a little more active.
I have. I've done on Twitter. I've been somewhat active. If you comment on our videos, I've been answering a lot of questions there.
Yeah, we are in the comment section every single day. So that's what we'll be.
Every single day. I read your comments every single day. Trust me.
All right. So, hey, we love y'all two pieces, and we'll catch y'all next time. All right? Crown.